My backyard wasn't just a parking spot for Lisa's oversized pickup truck. It was a graveyard for my grandmother's rose bushes, planted when I was a kid in our new home in Willow Creek, a quiet suburb outside Portland, Oregon. This was October 2024, and I'd been nursing those roses with a measuring cup during the water restrictions. But Lisa, the neighborhood association's deputy queen, rolled over them like she owned the place. She climbed out of her truck, decked in a zebra-striped jacket and neon leggings, waving at me from my own lawn like I was the trespasser. "Just dropping by," she sang, her boots crunching toward the neighbor's house. I stood on my deck, gripping a shovel, wondering if I'd stumbled into a reality show about suburban tyrants. Spoiler, I hadn't. This was my life. Lisa wasn't just any neighbor. She was the association's enforcer, with a grudge against guys like me who think sheds are for projects, not storage. She'd once tried to fine me for fixing my motorcycle in my driveway, calling it unseemly. Her truck appeared on my lawn the next day, and the next, and by day 4, it was sprawled diagonally across my grass like a bad decision. I left a polite note taped to her mirror: "Private property. Please park elsewhere." I even added a winking emoji. No dice. I knocked on her door. She blinked like I'd asked for her bank PIN and claimed my lawn was community space because the association's map was vague. Then she laughed. Actually laughed. "It's just grass, Tom," she said. I was livid about the grass, sure, but it was the principle that burned. My yard wasn't her personal lot. She had a massive driveway, but she parked on my roses because she could, because I was a single guy with no sway at meetings, no partner to back me up, and because she thought I'd roll over. I looked meek, quiet, always with a coffee mug. She didn't know I had an engineering degree, a stubborn streak, and a cousin, Jake, who built industrial lifts for a living. The final straw was when she backed into my irrigation line. The crack echoed into my kitchen. Water shot up like a geyser, her tires smugly perched on the broken pipe. She didn't even get out, just lowered her window and said, "Fix that. It's soaking my truck." Then she drove off, leaving ruts and a drowned garden statue. That night, I didn't sleep. I planned. Lisa thought this was about parking. It was about territory, and I wasn't losing mine. I filed a damage report with the association. At the meeting, Lisa smirked, her voice dripping with fake sympathy. "The rules don't cover ornamental pipes, hon." I counted to 20, went home, poured a whiskey, and emailed Jake. Subject: "Remember the go-kart launcher from college?" He sent back a blueprint for a hydraulic lift, a pressure plate system you could bury under grass, triggered by an app to relocate unwanted vehicles. Translation: a modern catapult, subtle but firm. I spent a weekend digging a trench under the guise of drainage work. Under the sod went a steel plate, hydraulic arms, and a sensor. From the street, my lawn looked pristine, just a patch of fresh turf. I tested it with a junk tyrite slid 20 feet onto a padded target, silent and smooth. I calibrated it to nudge, not launch, ensuring no damage, just displacement. Then I waited. 2 days later, Lisa's truck rolled in. I watched from my window as she strutted off. 10 minutes later, I tapped my app. The platform tilted, and her truck slid backward, clunking against the association's sign across the street. No harm, just a loud message. Lisa ran out, face twisting from shock to fury. "You trashed my truck," she screamed. I sipped my coffee and said, "You parked on my property. I moved the obstruction." "You're welcome." She called the cops. I showed them property lines, damage photos, my notes, and the system specs. The officer turned to Lisa. "Ma'am, you've got no case." She sputtered, threatening lawsuits. I smiled. Can't wait for discovery. I thought that had ended. Nope. A letter arrived, taped to my door, signed by Lisa, claiming my device was a safety hazard. I ignored it and sketched a backup plan: retractable spikes. 3 days of quiet followed too quiet. Then a city inspector showed up, citing unpermitted excavation. I handed over permits, receipts, and a patent draft. He sighed. "You're clear, but Lisa's pushing for an injunction." That night, the association called an emergency meeting. I wore a suit, knowing Lisa would arrive in her signature blazer, ready to dominate. She did, with a binder and 2 cronies, Mark and Susan. They accused my system of endangering kids. I countered with footage. Lisa's truck crushing my roses, her laughing at my note, her smug strut. The room went silent. Mark mumbled about deliberation. They returned, admitting they couldn't force me to remove it, but put my yard under review. Lisa stormed out, yelling, "You've made an enemy, Tom." Her retaliation escalated. Trash bags piled up on my porch. My mailbox overflowed with old association notices. My tires were deflated, no cuts, just sabotage. Someone rearranged my garden statues into an obscene gesture. I laughed at that. Less funny was the 3 a.m. delivery of 10 mulch barrels, prepaid under my name. I knew it was Lisa. I didn't react with more hydraulics. Instead, I invited the neighborhood to a lawn tech demo. Families came, curious. I revealed the system, launched a dummy tire onto foam, and pitched smart lawns that deter trespassers. The crowd loved it. Lisa, watching from across the street, looked unhinged. Her next injunction failed. The news called me a quirky innovator. She became a joke. Then she went nuclear, flooding my employer with emails calling me a dangerous liability. My boss, Claire, opened an investigation. I compiled permits, safety checks, and uncut footage of Lisa's trespassing. HR cleared me. Claire grinned. "Don't let me park on your lawn." That afternoon, a moving truck arrived, booked in my name with a fake card. I canceled it and filed a fraud report. The cop raised an eyebrow. "Lisa again? You're her third victim this year." She then pushed a vote to ban unapproved yard devices. I brought allies, a contractor, a code officer, and Jake. We showed her violations, from trespassing to an illegal fountain. The meeting turned into her trial. Susan moved to suspend Lisa from the board. It passed unanimously. Lisa fled, humiliated. The next morning, my lawn was scorecade a perfect square over the platform, doused and burned. The system was fine, but the message was clear: Lisa was unhinged. I filed another report. The cop hinted at a restraining order if I could catch her. So, I baited her. I posted about de-escalating, laid fresh sod, and removed my warning sign, waving to Lisa as I worked. Jake and I installed a sensor grid and cameras keyed to her truck. 3 nights later, at 2 a.m., my phone pinged. Live feed showed Lisa pouring gas, lighter in hand. Floodlights blazed, cameras rolled, and she tripped, soaking herself. Cops arrived in 6 minutes. The footage was undeniable, her muttering, her arson attempt. They cuffed her as she ranted about entrapment. It wasn't an association issue, Anna Maria, it was criminal. Lisa was banned from the board and got bail, but a restraining order kept her away. Her house sold to a kind couple who asked before borrowing tools. One day, they found a ranting letter in their basement, listing my crimes among others. I shredded it. Peace settled in. I turned the platform into a garden bed, planting herbs with a sensor-triggered sprinkler. But I kept a hidden alarm, my voice, warning trespassers. Just in case. So what do you think? Was I a hero for outsmarting a bully, or did I go too far with my high-tech trap? Should neighbors have the right to defend their property with extreme measures, or does that risk escalating petty disputes into chaos? Would you have stopped at a note, or build a catapult too? Let me know in the comments, hit like, and subscribe for more wild stories.